crime fighters. Special focus.
The absurd.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
Adigbite and Deputy Inspector General of Police John Hamadu, retired as Vice Chairman, embarked on a 2-day walking visit to leading media houses in Lagos State, where the chairman gave reasons why the committee was set up by Mr. President.
As the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Public Awareness on Security and Civic Responsibilities, which we call PCPASCR, I'm here with other members of the committee to carry out the crucial national assignment which Mr. President has assigned to us in line with our terms of reference as follows. 1. To reappraise the existing strategies on raising awareness on potential security threats in the country. 2. On a regular basis, map out strategies and create structures at the 3 tiers of government on how members of the public, including civil society organizations, can identify and deal with suspicious movements as well as potential threat to security through effective communication, planning, and public awareness program. 3. To develop curricula incorporating information security awareness sessions to raise security and safety awareness in all educational institutions in the country. 4. Advise and take any further necessary action that will strengthen crime prevention efforts of security agencies in the country. The committee, in collaboration with the press and other stakeholders, are to galvanize communal commitments, informed, nationalistic, and patriotic response but all in the interest of our collective security. We all owe ourselves a duty to be our brothers' keepers.
The committee's first port of call was the Punch newspaper, where issues regarding national security were raised by both parties.
Here we are going to be very frank with you, and if you are frank, just take it as it is. That is because this is our country. This is where our children have their future. This is where we have been. Essentially, we are in it together. So, some of the questions were very, very frank. I would like to start by saying that Nigeria is at the crossroads once again, from the flares that were seen around. But essentially, what is lacking in this project is sincerity, is deception, essentially. We have not been telling ourselves the true truth. And by the time you read our papers, you will find that direction in what Punch does. Now, as concerning what you have created us for, we appreciate the committee, and we know that there is no better time to have this kind of committee than this. The Boko Haram, the insecurity in Niger Delta, and what else. But essentially, what is your view on the Nigerian structure, this federal structure? Can this structure deliver peace and security? Can this structure deliver development as it is today?
We are going to take note of all the points you have made. And for example, constitution, I don't think anybody is happy with the Nigerian constitution. There is no unanimity. It's how to make it right. Some believe we can go on with piecemeal amendments. Some believe we need total new, overhauling, a totally new constitution. So I think Nigerians have to decide.
I would like to know if this panel is going to make a difference, that this panel or this committee, in terms of relevance, would not go the way of other committees, because we are a nation of committees and panels. There's any slight problem, you set up a panel. The Just Crisis, when I was still running a column, I think I did a piece, and my research, I discovered to my surprise that as at last year or 2 years ago or so, about 17 or 18 panels had been set up by the federal government, by the state government to solve the Just Crisis. So what assurance, what guarantee do we have that this panel, or this committee, is going to live up to its billing?
We are doing this together. Whatever views and suggestions you have, we will look at them and put them all together to government. We will make our recommendations, we will follow up our recommendations, and ensure that there is some implementation, and we will monitor what is happening. I mean, this is not just one that we will just hand over to Mr. President, this is what we want. We will follow up. And these are people who are from the critical areas of security. And every one of them is committed to doing what is right and correct. So, but you are part of the committee. We are merely your mouthpiece. And that's why we are here.
We find out that of late, the SS, for example, has been busy screening ministerial appointees and what have you. Meanwhile, Boko Haram is busy killing people. I mean, what intelligence is the SS providing, for example? Is the SS telling us that they cannot locate the operational base of Boko Haram? We have reports that you don't even share intelligence. How do you hope to get around all this and make a difference?
Of course, whether we screen ministers or not, and like I've always said, You know, you wouldn't want us to come on air and begin to give out our operational plans. There is no way you've asked whether the IGP, the DGSSS, the Chief of Defense Staff, and they say we don't share intelligence. It's only the media creation. You know, when you don't provide media the necessary answers to questions they put across to you, the next thing is, oh, there's no, you know, there's no collaboration within the intelligence agencies. It is not true. I'm sure you know that Punch is one of the first newspapers that reported that troops have been deployed to Borno, and even quoted specific numbers, which of course to us kind of hindered our operational purposes. We expect that the media should, you know, partner with security agencies, not cause more problems for us. So we are working in concert with one another. We share enough and adequate information, whether at the very base or at the very top. You know, if you ask the CDI what the military is doing, he will tell you the military, police, and all other law enforcement and security agencies are working together. We also expect that the media should assist us by reducing their sensational reportage of issues. Because when we promote the Boko Haram people, we are not even sure whether it's Boko Haram or not. At this level, I would say we are not even sure. You can't say everything that's happening in Borno is Boko Haram. We have to be very careful. Because sometimes our pronouncements tend to prejudice whatever we are putting in place. There are political issues, like the chairman said. There are economic issues. There are issues that have been with us as a nation. And so once there's an uprising, we should be careful, because when you're not careful in sifting out which is which, you're bound to make very terrible and grievous mistakes. So I think I want to rest my case here and say that there's been adequate information sharing.
I think it's a bit unfair to accuse the media, the press, of not contributing our quota to the Nigerian project. Just like we cannot teach you intelligence gathering, it's your business. Although our job is also to monitor how you do it, and if there are results, to tell you we are seeing results, and if we are not seeing results, to also publish that, to say, see, we are not seeing anything. That fine, maybe there's motion, but there's no movement. It's our duty to do that. We also do engage in self-censorship to a certain extent, you know, just to ensure that we move forward as a country, you know, and as a people. But then the problem is that we hear things like this and we don't usually see commensurate reports. We break stories that, okay, we've got a report that this is likely to happen, and then we publish it. And then the least that we expect is that after we publish such stories, that agencies like us would either preempt such attacks or, you know, interfere with the processes involved, you know, in organizing such things. And when we do not see such things happen, either at all or as often as we would like them to see that, we have a duty to report. We have a duty to prompt those who are responsible into taking necessary actions.
Other media houses visited were The Nation newspaper, The Guardian, Vanguard, Champion, The Sun, and Channels Television, where the editorial board members of these media houses bore their minds on the security situation in the country.
I just want to raise this issue that's been bothering my mind regarding this growing menace. It sounds to me like more of a failure of community. So whether we're talking about kidnappers, Boko Haram, or any other group, obviously they live in communities. And this, I do not believe that there's a part of this country where we do not have some kind of leadership, some kind of authority of sorts, who can channel some of these things to government. So it strikes at the heart of the matter that somewhere, somehow, the idea of community as we knew it is beginning to crumble in Nigeria. Militants in Niger Delta, it was as if the community condoned it. Boko Haram is like community also is beginning to condone it. And everywhere you go, you see a certain complacency, because you cannot talk about community, you cannot talk about security without the community itself owning it as a concept. So I don't know what your committee, because I'm happy to see a traditional guy in our midst. I'm beginning to worry that is there something that I'm willing to do much more than we have not done. That's my own concern.
Good.
How do we sensitize the public to their responsibility to live up to being accountable to their actions and actions around the environment? To be able to spontaneously report things that are weird in the environment. How do we engage them? How do we promote that? This is public enlightenment. Where are we here? What is the role of the media in doing that? How does the media promote the drive of instrument to enable people know this is what we ought to do? And if I may say through the chairman, there are various interest groups and focus groups. The media, the civil society, the women groups, the Okada riders, road transport workers, information officers, students, and so on, youth organizations. That is on a generic level of non-formal education. And more importantly, how do you grow a Nigerian child who will immediately report an environment, social environment, without being told through education? So part of the terms of reference is to say, ingrain this culture of public enlightenment, to be sensitive to being accountable to our actions in education. It's a long-term thing. Short-term, how do you generate the instrument that will enable people respond? That is why we are here.
One way we can help as media people, and I'm in the right place to also suggest ideas from this side, is to do a focus on community living and capture where they do community policing. People pay for their own security, albeit it's part of the failure of state aspect of not being able to provide security for people. But we've been living with this sort of, if you want security, you do neighborhood watch. How has it succeeded? It's a replacement, it's the urban sector of what existed in traditional societies, people having community watch. So without even going up to having state police, for whatever complications that will be, and the long process of constitutional traffic and amendments that we have to go through. I know what the health bill is going through right now. 7 years we've been working on it. It's on the president's desk and there is politicking about it. And that is health. A very bland thing that everybody should key into. So I can think of what community policing or state policing will go through. But on our own, we can start something. Even without waiting for the law from the constitution or some regulations, because it's in our interest. The neighborhood vanguards people are doing, let's highlight what people have been doing, success stories, human angle story, how it helped in other places, how others can start organizing it before we have a national law-backed option that you might take from all the suggestions people are making.
The task with which you've been saddled is an onerous one. But if you permit me off the cuff, I'll simply say one of the biggest security challenges your committee has is unemployment. A lot of my brothers who took to militancy in the creeks took to militancy out of joblessness. A lot of the people you find in the north who have taken to fundamentalism in the name of fighting whatever cause, they are doing so out of joblessness. So perhaps it's an observation. You will do well to let Mr. President and whoever else feels so concerned to try to create jobs. If we do not start creating jobs as fast as yesterday, you know, you can set up 10 more committees, go around all the media houses, get CNN involved, the BBC, VOA, whoever you want to get involved, sir.
hunger any day is a more compelling reason to do anything to survive. That is the biggest security challenge you have. You must get the government, the private sector, however you do it, to simply create jobs.
The 18-member committee also visited the Oba of Lagos, Oba Rilwan Akinolu, who apparently is a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police. The traditional monarch offered his suggestions and professional advice that will aid the committee in their task.
What we have come for today is something which has been bothering me and any right-thinking Nigerian for a very long time. Because the level of insincerity we adopt in this country is not the way of God. We want to do things right, we want adequate security, we want law and order. First of all, we must do justice, fear of God, respect for elders, and finally, true federation, which is very, very necessary for the peaceful existence of this country. The task set up by the federal government is an Herculean task, but with God and zeal, nothing is impossible. Number one thing we should do on this your request is adequate and proper intelligence gathering. Proper and adequate funding by the government on intelligence gathering, then the leadership should ensure that the money voted for a particular purpose is used for that purpose. Even security contracts should not go on party patronage. Two, people who are needed to be taken care of should be taken care of. And the deployment of policemen, not because this man is a friend of this man, you go and put him to be the head. The head alone cannot do anything. Furthermore, I was very happy the day this committee was inaugurated when your chairman says that the level of employment and poverty is very, very alarming, that the government needs to do something. Look at the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, ordinary farm settlement. Many people were employed there. The scheme like the youth corps something, during that training, you can train all those youth corps on a more useful something, and at the time of discharge, give them sub loan. Majority of them will set up something, do it yourself group. They will stop roaming the streets. And my friend, the pressman, you have a lot to do in this country to put things in order. You see, your reporting should be very, very objective and productive. Not because this man is against me, this man is this one, then you started saying another thing. It is ungodly. You know, the pen is mightier than the sword. With pen, you can destroy something, but that is not necessary. So please try to report adequately what is happening and provide solutions to certain things.
Highlight of the visitation was the presentation of souvenirs to media establishments and individuals visited. The visit of the Presidential Committee on Public Awareness, Security and Civic Responsibilities have come and gone, leaving its members with a pool of ideas and recommendations on how to create public awareness on security and arouse the populace to be awake to their civic responsibilities. It is also our hope that the government of the day will implement the viable recommendations proffered by the committee and ensure its sustainability. Furthermore, that Nigerians will wake up to their civic responsibilities of providing security agencies with useful information that will aid in safeguarding the nation effectively while exhibiting the spirit of community policing and show of unflinching patriotism to our fatherland.
Crime Fighters, the #1 security program on television.